Anyway, welcome everybody. This is going to be a new sort of random segment that we are calling for the next hour and 45 minutes. This is Final Four-ish, the best of the rest, Universal Orlando attractions. We have been talking up to the nose about Disney for well over 24 hours now, and so we're going to take a little break from that and rag a little bit on another close Sunshine State Park. And that is, of course, Orlando's Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. Bum, bum. So let's see here. I'm going to...
Hey, Nathan,
yes.
we have a donation real quick.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. Welcome, Alicia, by the way.
Hi.
So I'm going to... Alicia, tell us about that donation real quick.
It's from Isabel. I'm not even going to try and say your last name because I'm going to screw it up, but it was for $50. So thank you so much. The Tots really appreciate it. We appreciate it.
We do. Patrick, all I can see are your eyes. You're on video, just so you know.
I knew I was on video. I thought I had it better. Yeah, hang on.
No.
I mean, I like the kind of a you don't know Jack vibe that we were getting.
Pretty much. Mazel tov, by the way.
Message from the giant floating head. Give me
Show me what you got.
I have a billion windows open right now.
Oh, you and me both.
Yeah.
Oh, I need.
I'm going to put somebody. Alicia, you're doing a good job so far. Why don't you be donation checker for the next hour and 45, and then let's see here. We're at 6 people now, so we might need to break a tie. We'll see what happens. If we have to break a tie, we will take votes from chat.
That seems smart.
Please vote.
Yeah.
As long as and if we have odd, we'll just do it that way. So anyway, this is Final Four-ish Universal Orlando Parks attractions. I am going to put who would like to take care of comments in the chat.
I'll keep an eye on that.
Thank you, Ben, very much, because I'm going to share my screen now and show everyone the grid.
Grid.
This is the grid. So let's talk about the grid. We have 3 categories. I said it's Final Four-ish because Universal Studios, even in its history, has not had enough rides to make an entire Final Four chart. So due to that, we are going to do our best. We have... Whoa.
Uh-oh.
I am working on how to zoom in. You know how Excel is.
Man, I am tripping so hard.
We're going to go real
Is
slow.
this bracket shrinking or growing? Or is it your imagination? Oh,
so our first bracket over here is, of course, the Universal Studios current attractions bracket. And then over here on our right, we have our Islands of Adventures bracket. And you're thinking, how did you put these together? How did you rank them? I just pick things that I thought would be fun to talk about opposed to each other and put them together. This is not thought out 100% wonderfully. So, and then last but not least is a category for all attractions that are no longer with us. If Universal is good at one thing, it is getting rid of stuff. So we have these as well. So let's begin. We can let's take a vote inside of this call. What panel would we like to start with?
I'd like to start with Islands of Adventure. I think that's like the least interesting of the brackets we've got.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I disagree, but we'll see. Anyone okay with Islands of Adventure?
I prefer we just went with Universal Studios like proper, and then we moved on.
Go okay. Kind of in historical order.
Historical order? Minus the history stuff.
That's me, though.
So Fig's up for... So basically, no one's helping me decide what to do, so I am going to start.
I gave a suggestion.
You did.
Democracy only works if everyone participates.
I completely agree. We're with 15 minutes already off the clock. I'm going to just keep moving. So our first order of business, and I feel like I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to make everything. Oh, good. It does work.
Hey, there we go.
Track pads. Our first order of business is a real scorcher. This one's going to be very difficult.
Oh, my gosh.
A Day in the Park with Barney versus Shrek 4D. So I'm going to stop sharing that now. And now we're back at grid view, I hope. Someone check the YouTube and make sure that's...
I'll keep an eye on it and let you know.
Pretty sure that's what's going to happen.
Like it is.
So A Day in the Park with Barney versus Shrek 4D. Any thoughts to start us out on this real nail biter?
I mean,
is anybody gonna vote for Barney?
I was gonna give a shout out to Barney. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of surprised, given Universal's tendency to replace things that have been there for a while, that Barney is still going.
Yes, it's true.
That's actually true.
Plus, I gotta tell you, I think I was there not long after it opened. they've got a nice interactive setup for really young kids. They've got like that playhouse in the pre-show area. They really did that up nice, and I think credit must be given where credit is due.
It is one of the few, I don't want to say one of the few meet and greets, but it is one of the few interactive sort of shows at Universal. I think Shrek 4D is sort of hot molten garbage.
It's not great.
Yeah.
The only thing of like Shrek, I've never walked into any of these. I just walk right past, but I do walk past the donkey meet and greet, right? That's attached to Shrek 4D, and I can't help but crack up every time. Like I'll just hear something as I'm passing by, and it's always hilarious.
Shrek 4D, of course, has against it the fact that it was available in cereal boxes about, I don't know, 6 months after it was put out in the parks. So it is so readily available. You can watch it on YouTube right now in full HD.
The only people that like that attraction, like genuinely.
It always has a long wait. Like there are people sometimes like wrapped around.
That's because it's at the front of the park. That's the only reason I can imagine why. It's
also
just
the fact that Shrek has had this great resurgence in memes.
Yes.
That's true. I'm going to go with Barney. My vote is Barney because it is
this happening
to the
right
parks.
now?
It's unique. The thing is, Shrek is very easily replicated, and you can watch it anytime. You can't meet Barney any day of the week. So Barney for me. That's vote 1. Who else? Where are we at? Let's get some votes. Ben, vote.
I have to go with Barney here because I honestly just can't stand the Shrek attraction. Like I don't like things.
I'm with you, Patrick.
The seat poker tech in there. It's just not an enjoyable experience. If I wanted people poking me in my back, I'd go hang out with my sister. Hi.
Patrick, I think your sound's a little off. I'm not sure how, but it seems delayed.
How about? Oh, that's weird. How about now? Am I better?
It's still off. I don't know why.
Yeah, we'll just live with it, I guess.
We'll live with it for now until you can figure it out. So Patrick, clearly you're going to go Shrek.
I'm absolutely going Shrek. It's an attraction that mentions Disney World. It's fun and witty at times. I enjoy it. I go every time as long as there's not a line. I'm not waiting for that nonsense.
Right. Matthew, someone once told me the world was going to roll me. But what about this ride? Do you think it's Shrek or is it Barney?
Well, I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, but I got to tell you, I think my vote's for Barney. They did not have to do as much with this attraction as they did. They really put in the extra effort, and it shows. So, yeah, I love you, Barney.
So we're 3 Barney, 1 Shrek. Fig?
I'm voting Shrek. I don't know why. Maybe for the memes.
For the memes.
That's fair.
Fig's doing it for the memes. So we are right now at 3-2. We are going to break this with Alicia. What do you think?
I'm going Shrek. I liked it when I was a kid, so it's got the nostalgia factor.
Oh,
The
okay.
Shrek generation.
Well, we all make mistakes
Thanks.
this
Nick.
early, but that's okay. So we are going to go Shrek for Shred 4D. Shrek 4D.
Weren't we tied 3-3?
I am so sorry,
Yeah.
Barney.
No, was it tied 3-3?
I thought it was.
It is 3-3 because
Oh my gosh! I for some reason I just immediately gave it to Shrek. That's not fair.
I mean, you can. We're not going to complain.
Hold
I'm
on.
fine with it.
So we need the chat
Yeah,
people. What do you think?
I'm looking at chat at the moment. The only conversation I've seen is one that Barney is less bad than Shrek, and the other is that Shrek 4D is the lesser of 2 evils here.
Oh, so we're still tied.
That's still split.
Yeah.
Also, I should say, anyone that gives $5 to Toys for Tots gets to vote in any of these brackets.
Oh, for sure.
Do they just override our votes?
They'll just add an addition to that vote.
Okay.
So you have, if you want to throw in 5 for a ride that you love, please do so. It helps the Tots. So let's move on to the
We
next.
will go back and update the bracket if we need to.
I think we have a
Still don't
third
have a
vote.
tiebreaker.
No, that's the same. I already counted that one.
Oh,
No,
okay, so
there's
we're-
a new one that just popped up.
Somebody once.
Jedwah. Jedwah threw his vote to Shrek.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward
Shrek's
with.
coming in.
So we got some more Shreks. Okay,
There is some more Shreks. In YouTube.
like the layers of a Shrek.
Hey now, you're a tot now. Okay.
So
There's a Barney.
we have a Barney.
Oh,
All right. So
Not
Shrek's
enough.
currently
I
winning.
feel like Shrek is going to be the winner here. So we will move
Yeah.
forward.
no! I think
They
Barney
won.
tied it up.
Although,
3-3.
after hearing what Matthew said about Barney, though, I kind of want to go. I love interactive like spaces for toddlers because I am one.
So we literally, this has been suddenly this is a massive confusion, and we're literally talking about Barney and Shrek. Where are we landing on this?
We're still tied. Chat is tied. Room is tied.
Donations, Alicia. Anything in donations for either or?
Sorry.
Okay.
Come on, do it for the Tots.
I am going to do. I don't have a quarter. Does anyone have a quarter?
I think what happens here is
what,
Nathan
Patrick
actually just ends up breaking the tie because he's running this.
That's true.
2 Shreks in YouTube and 1 Barney. So that is Shrek, definitively.
Okay, we're gonna call it for Shrek. I don't think they're gonna make it much farther than this anyway. I'm not gonna fret too much.
Say you love me too.
So we're gonna go Shrek 4D. The next on the bracket is Despicable Me Minion Mayhem versus The Simpsons. Despicable Me Minion Mayhem versus
Can we call this the Furious Yellow bracket?
The Furious Yellow bracket.
The Fast and the Furious Yellow.
The Fast and the Yellow. Yeah, it's quite the bracket. Thoughts, panel.
I'm gonna go Simpsons, and I'm going to save my argument for why we do the future back to the defunct, the Jimmy Neutron, Hanna-Barbera. I'll save my argument for that.
Got it. Wonderful.
That's exactly why I'm voting for Minions, is because it replaced the worst attraction.
Oh, Patrick.
I don't know if you've done Minions yet. No, it's not. Here's the thing. Minions is not terrible, but it is. I've never seen a line for something so not worth that line.
I walked right past it. Like, I just can't. No.
Well,
Patrick, I'll let you know if your audio is good. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I will certainly throw in for my attraction. I'm actually going to go in the opposite direction of Patrick. I am voting Simpsons, which replaced one of the best rides Universal's ever done. But it is still a well-executed ride. They managed to bring that humor of the series and bring it to a theme park. They don't make fun of Disney. They make fun of Universal. There's that sign. Please send money to Universal Studios. I absolutely love that. As much as I miss Back to the Future, I am satisfied with The Simpsons. I am not satisfied with the Minions.
So we are 1 Minions for Patrick, 1 Simpsons.
2 Simpsons.
Matthew. 2 Simpsons. That's right.
3 Simpsons.
3 Simpsons. Ben.
Although that ride makes me so sick.
I hear that a lot from people, which I think it might be the size of the screen.
It is kind of big, yeah.
And the 3D effect, because it's in 3D as well. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. Ben?
I'm gonna be going with Minions here. Not so much because I enjoy it, but both of these are kind of on par with each other. And really, the only thing I have to tie break in my head is that Minions replaced a terrible attraction and Simpsons replaced a terrific attraction. So I'm going to go with the one that's the upgrade instead of the downgrade and go with Minions.
I see.
Good answer.
I'm echoing in someone's. I feel like I'm
I think
echoing.
you're good now.
Okay. I'm gonna say Simpsons. Simpsons still makes me laugh. The queue, it might be one of the funniest like waiting videos as well. It's very Simpsons. It's good season Simpsons jokes as well. I love when he says beer. When did that ever hurt anybody? Which is like the funniest, saddest thing to say in any amusement park attraction. So Simpsons gets my vote as well. I think that is a de facto Simpsons. Anybody in the chats though? Do we have any? Not that they tie it.
Chat for Simpsons.
Come on, turn down for Homer.
I think it's.
We have 1 vote for Simpsons ride, Jedwa.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about Minion Mayhem, though. I think it's cute, but man, I do not understand Universal's love of like weird motion seat theaters. Like it is.
They do that a lot, don't they?
It is not immersive at all. It's not interesting at all. It's I think the best part about that ride was the queue is pretty interesting. I love there's the head of an animal eating another animal, eating another animal, eating another animal in that queue, which is very funny. But the wait time ruins Minion period. I don't think I'd ever consider going on it. I did it at Rope Drop one day just because I knew I would never get on it. I got in line. I still waited 40 minutes because it's one theater. They were running. I can't fathom this. They're running one theater for this show, and they're running it at the very front of the park. It's just an insane. That's why there's 90 minutes all the time. So it looks like it goes to Simpsons, and I'm already showing my universal frustration so quickly. Simpsons it is. All right, so our first two brackets are done. It'll be Shrek 4D versus Simpsons coming up. Next up, we got the kitty coasters going up against each other. Woody Woodpecker's Nut House coaster versus Kang. I guess this is not a roller coaster, but Kang and Kodo's Twirl and Hurl in Simpsons Land. Thoughts, people? Twirl and Hurl or Woody Woodpecker's Nut House coaster?
I love the Twirl and Hurl. After getting sick on the Simpsons ride, I've just stopped going on there and I go on the Twirl and Hurl instead. Ironically, it doesn't get me sick. And the video on there is hilarious. Just the whole concept. It's actually very relaxing on like a nice cool day.
Yep.
So one for Twirl and Hurl. Patrick, did you say yep? Your video's gone, but I thought you said yep.
I did take my video off because I wasn't synced. So yeah, Twirl and Hurl is quite possibly outside of Dumbo my favorite spinner ride. I love it so much. It's
so good.
Yeah. Awesome. So 2 for Twirl and Hurl. I will also go Twirl and Hurl because it's fun, and Nut House coaster is not that impressive, and it's like a walk and a half to get over to it. So anybody else?
Okay, well, I'm gonna go against you guys and do Woody Woodpecker, but this is because when I was like, I don't know, really little, probably 5 or 6. We went and rode it, my dad and I, and they just kept letting us go because no one else was on there. So we went around like 8 times and they didn't stop it. It was great. So
that's a good reason. Memories count. So we are 1 Woody Woodpecker and 3 Twirl and Hurl. Matthew Soberman, where do you land?
Well, I've done Woody Woodpecker's Nut House coaster exactly once. But that being said, I have never done Kang and Kodos' Hurl and Twirl. I have not been there since it opened. I think my vote's got to go to Woody Woodpecker. At least in a park full of IPs, at least it's a Universal property as opposed to the Simpsons, which are about to become Disney characters.
Yes. So we have 2 Woody Woodpecker, 3 Twirl and Hurl. Twirl and Hurl? Yes. I said that correctly. Ben, where do you land?
I don't have memory really of doing either of these.
Doesn't matter. You can literally just make it up.
Yeah. I was going to. Trust me, I was planning on it. Twirl and Hurl honestly just seems really cool. Like I like the idea of that attraction. I'd like that they chose those honestly very side character niche characters for that attraction. It makes a ton of sense thematically. That's my vote. That's really
Twirl and Hurl it is. Okay, so Twirl and Hurl is our winner. So let's go back to the bracket here and give Twirl and Hurl its due. For some reason, it always puts everyone's video, for what I see, in my way when I come back over here. So Kang, I'm just going to go Twirl and Hurl. Okay. All right. This should be an interesting one.
Oh.
This hurts my soul.
Why couldn't you have put those against those? At least
this is
I've ridden and these rides I like.
Yeah, this is the thing. Eventually, we had to actually have some sort of competition. When I'm throwing in Woody Woodpecker's Nut House coaster, that's how dire it is for things. We are doing E.T. Adventure versus Men in Black Alien Attack. So, I'm pleased. I'm pleased that this is. I did well. I did a good.
You did good.
I would die for E.T.'s Adventure.
Like, there we go.
I would.
So what you're saying is you're on the fence.
No offense.
Why do you like it so much?
It's so, I love it. I love this. I love that there's usually no wait. I love the video when you walk in. There's that great video, like still grainy, like super like 90s video. Yes. I love that you never know if you're gonna get a little like name card or not. There's always like that element of surprise whether it's working or not.
Are they gonna do it or not?
And then the smell when you walk.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the trees and just everything. I could live there, and I love it.
I do love that queue.
That's my favorite queue.
It's so fun.
It's the most perfect queue in all of theme park history.
That being said, there is something to be said for Men in Black's queue.
No,
this is a good point. That is a really nice.
I mean, you want to talk immersed into the sets from the movie, that headquarters set.
Yeah, not to mention
the entire elevator scene. That's just, oh man.
Yeah, right. And I don't know if I had a really good guy the first time I went on it, and I've always remembered it, where he said, "All right, here we go. Like step in here." And we were doing the elevator bit, and then of course they usually it just opens on the other side, but he went to the other side and said, why is it taking you guys so long? Come on. And it was just really funny. So you can have some really good interaction with people in Men in Black that you can't necessarily have in ET, which counts for something. I do like that setup. I will say this. Men in Black is the greatest track shooter ride in Orlando right now.
Over Midway Mania?
I would say yes, over Midway Mania. Midway Mania is very fun, but it's just screens doing screen things. That is an immersive like warehouse of not highly motioned animatronics, but it is actually trying to really do something and give a theme to things. Whereas Midway Mania, as fun as it is also fairly stock when it comes to its aesthetic. Beyond the queue, which I think is really fun.
And then there are those characters at the ET Adventure has its own special characters that they created for the ride.
When I go in the shower,
as Men in Black.
That's true, but when I go in the shower, it's very echoey, and I always like to yell, "Welcome!" Yes. If I could have my nest or something when I come home say that to me, I would be very cool.
Love that. I love "Welcome Home, You've Arrived." It's everything.
The blasts of the quote unquote hot air in that one area is the loudest piece of an attraction I've ever been in. It is so loud in that section of ET. Patrick, any thoughts? You've been quiet.
Yeah, this is really tough because ET is what I like to call my pitchfork attraction. There's a few of them at Walt Disney World. This is literally the only one at Universal that I will pick up my pitchfork for. But man, Men in Black is so good. It's so much fun. The nostalgia gets it, though. I think I got to give it to ET.
So we have ET, Fig is ET. Alicia, did you say what you were?
I think Fig convinced me. I'm going to go ET.
So we have 3 for ET. Soberman.
Okay. I know I've been singing Men in Black's praises, but my vote always was going to E.T. It is the last opening day attraction still at Universal, and that has to mean something.
Ben's freaking out up there.
No.
Here's the thing. There's a great story about how now I don't know if this is 100% true, but this is the rumor that Spielberg was pretty frustrated when one ET got taken away in I think it was Hollywood or Tokyo. Where's the other Universal? I always forget. I'm sorry?
I think they have a Shanghai.
I think it might be Shanghai. Yeah. Well, one of them had another ET. They took that away. So there was one left. It was Orlando. And he was very much like, I'm not going to help Paramount, or not Paramount, but I'm not going to help Universal out anymore if it goes away. He was very adamant about keeping it.
Oh, yeah. It was at Hollywood in Japan.
That's correct. Yeah.
I was told that that's a contractual thing, that there must be an ET or an attraction that he did in the parks. You know how park rumors get started, but I've heard that before.
Neat little fact about E.T.'s adventure. Ron Schneider, known for playing the Dreamfinder at Epcot, voiced one of the he's the voice that goes, "It's E.T." In the ride, because he wrote for Universal. And did Streetmosphere stuff. Well, he managed a lot of the Streetmosphere people at the time. So if you hear "It's E.T.," that's the Dreamfinder himself in the E.T.
His Universal stories are fantastic.
He really has
that
a lot.
Ride vehicle system is just so unique. I can't think.
It is.
It's advanced Peter Pan in many ways. It's an advanced section of Peter Pan. Now that ride is reached a stage where it is meme-worthy terrible at the same time as good as it.
But it's
just in the
fast.
land part. Like everything before you get to his home planet, I think is still good. It's when you get to his planet that you're like, this is terrible.
But
it's still great.
You're like, what? Suddenly you're like on shrooms, like soaring through the sea world.
It is sort of like someone said, hey, what if we took E.T. and then the aesthetic of Magic Journeys and put it into a ride? So Magic Journeys meets Magic Journeys meets It's a Small World. And then we throw E.T. It is a trip. I don't think the narrative's very good. It's a weird narrative. I really like E.T., but I think I'm going to have to give it to Men in Black. It is aesthetically way more put together. Look, if E.T. had been given the love that it deserves as of this moment, I would probably give it to E.T. But there's just speakers out, and it is really, really rough in there. And
100% with you on that.
I would like to love E.T. Not as a mutt in the park, but as like a beautiful golden retriever. And right now it's a mutt and a half. So,
but it's so easily fixed if Universal actually took the effort to upgrade its existing rides rather than just building new ones.
Well, Men in Black is also a little rough. Don't get me wrong. It has its own little issues. Again, we're doing Best of the Rest here. It's called Best of the Rest because most of these rides are a little rough. Ben, thoughts?
Men in Black. Like
Okay.
I agree wholeheartedly with your point on if ET had been given the TLC that it needs, if it had been updated, refurbed, not like full on like we're gonna tear it apart, but just like put in new animatronics, update that end scene a little bit, make it slightly less of an acid trip. I think it could very easily be what I picked here, but Men in Black, that is a very fun attraction. It is one of the best shooters out there. I don't know if it necessarily beats out Midway Mania, but I can definitely understand why you would say that, and I'm not going to fault you for it.
Yeah.
Don't need a locker for ET.
There's also no line for ET, where there is a line for Men in Black.
Fair.
Men in Black, the locker. Well, I get it because you spin. I suppose that makes sense. Yeah, we're gonna have a long conversation about their desire to make me very frustrated with their locker policies.
Oh yeah.
You realize like technically you're not supposed to bring your phone on Men in Black, which is the craziest thing I've ever like considered in my life.
Why?
I have no idea.
Because Universal is stupid. Sorry.
Yes. Well, no, that's what. Yes, they very much are. Look, I go to Universal, and there are moments where I go, "Wow, that's kind of cool," and then the majority of the time I go, "Man, like thank God for Disney." Like it really does give you a perspective on what even Comcast, which one could say has the money of a Disney to do right by Universal, is almost unwilling. But hey, people are still coming in, and when we talk about those, we'll get to those wow factor rides coming up, I'm sure. Anything in the chat? Any comments in the chat?
Phenomenal Brandy on YouTube said E.T. for the smell and the queue alone.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
It's a small world on acid. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Truth.
Can confirm.
Any donations recently in the last couple minutes?
Nothing. Do we want to plug for Toys for Tots? What we're doing real quick?
Yeah. Hey, it's Toys for Tots time, everybody. Toys.wdwnt.com. Give to the tots, right? You've paid for high quality Disney content, and that's why we haven't paid. You're getting this all for free. You're getting free Disney content that is actually Universal content right now. So please.
Oh, did we hit Isabel Tavares?
Yeah, we got
we
that
did?
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did.
Thanks again.
Donate if you want to get ET to his home planet.
Oh.
Yes, if you want to get ET. But I think ET will get to his home planet today as ET takes the cake once again. So
go fund me for ET now.
We're going to
adventure.
when that building goes down anymore.
Yeah. ET Adventures now versus
I was just there in October. I actually thought it looked really good.
Interesting. I need to go back. I need to write. You can walk on that thing quite easily, so I need to do it several times next time I go. It's funny. The distance between Disney and Universal is like 15 minutes in theory, but the chaos that ensues to get to Universal makes you not want to go to Universal when you live here and own a pass to it.
I once made the mistake of staying at like Animal Kingdom Lodge, thinking I'm like, oh, it's just 20 minutes to get to Universal.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and parking is chaos in its own right at Universal. So everything at Universal is a bit of a trek. Our next one up is Revenge of the Money versus the Money. Yeah, Revenge of the Money.
Revenge of the Money.
Revenge of because of the Mummy. Revenge of the Mummy versus Harry Potter Escape from Gringotts.
This is horrible too.
This is really hard.
Panel.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? Oh, you haven't done Gringotts?
I have not been there since they opened Diagon Alley.
When I talk about Wow Factor, I'm talking about Diagon Alley. I mean, I am so excited for Nintendo. I am so excited for the future of. You know what? I might almost say, because it is sort of a rough mutt of a park, I may be more excited for the future of Universal right now than Disney, because I expect quality from Disney. Like, it doesn't excite me because I expect them to do stuff. But Nintendo Land is like, okay, let's see what you can do. Like, can you make it happen? So I'm excited to see if that's possible. I also rode Fast and the Furious. So okay, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But this is my one thing about Escape. Escape is my favorite. It used to be my favorite of the two Harry Potters.
Blasphemy.
Same.
I know, and that's my wife's the same way. My wife believes in Forbidden Journey. I think the cues are. I think they're both very excellent cues. I should stop trying to compare them to Harry Potter, because right now it's Revenge of the Mummy versus Harry Potter. I think you can see where I'm landing, though.
I think though.
Yes, go ahead.
This is hard.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the narrative for the Mummy real quick?
I love
how fantastic it is.
Really well. Yes.
It's the most garbage narrative ride in the entire existence.
I just wanted my cup of coffee.
Let us run through what.
Where's my latte?
Let's run through it real quick. So you go to the outside aesthetic of the Museum of Antiquities in New York City. And you walk into the museum, and it's no longer a museum.
It turns into a
movie
temple.
set.
Yeah.
Yes. No, it's not even a temple. It's a movie set.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we're on a movie set. We're doing movie set things. And then they do a poltergeist joke, which is weird. And then they decide, well, let's go down this way. And then all of a sudden, you're just legitimately in a temple. Or you're in a set that is so temple-ish that it feels like a normal temple. They don't really explain. Suddenly, you go from museum to film to temple, and then you get on the ride. They don't give you a reason why you're getting on the ride, by the way. It's not very clear. And then there's a person, and they were in the movie, I think. I don't think I've ever stopped to watch that Q video because there's no line long enough for you to actually watch the Q. You're in the temple, which, by the way, the temple does a great thing where it shoots little pieces of air at people. Which is
there's
fun.
So many fun tricks in there with the pyramid, and if you do the hands around it, it lights up everything.
Yeah. But it's supposed to be a movie set, so I'm not sure what any of this is. And then the guy's like, "Go away, the curse, it's cursed, it's whatever." And so the fairly okay animatronic comes out and silences us, and then you're like, "All right, here we go. Now we are going to go on a Indiana Jones adventure type." Like quick paced thing, and you just sort of go in and stand there for a little bit, and then you turn around and you're like, oh, we're gonna go backwards, or I can't remember how this all works out because it's so garbly.
You go forward, the bugs come out, then you go backwards.
Right, you're like, oh, here we go, and then you don't, and then you go, we're going backwards, and then you don't, and then they turn you all the way around.
Yep.
And then finally, after that screensaver of the eye or whatever finishes up, they're like,
not even the Magi can save you now.
Not even the Magi can save you now. And then death is only the beginning, which is the best line in the whole ride.
Yeah.
And then you bust through the coolest part, and it is legitimately fun. That's the reason I still ride it, and also because if you're a single rider on that, you can just and then you get to the end, and there is a silhouette of a figure who says, "Welcome back from your ride." So then, of course, it explodes, and it's a mummy again. So let's go all the way back. It is a New York. It's a New York museum that you go into, which is actually a film set, which is actually a temple, which is then actually a legitimate ride inside of the narrative, which is then a film set again at the end.
Just say to yourself, it's just a ride. I should really just relax.
Thank you. Patrick.
I think
to make fun of Mummy. Did you need to get that out, Nathan?
Boy, I think about that every time I write it. From a narrative perspective, it is a horse dookie. It is the worst. It is the worst when it comes to a narrative.
Dragon inside Gringotts is outside on top of the ride at all times.
That's true, but I can't see the dragon when I'm in the ride.
You saw it before you got there.
That's true. Look, I'm not saying, again, this is Universal Final Four, which means I'm never going to have gold versus silver here. It's like bronze versus a turd. So
Brendan Fraser does his own voices in Mummy.
I agree. Brendan Fraser being involved is very important to me.
But they got some of the original actors to do Gringotts too.
That's true.
I was gonna say, didn't Helen Bonham Carter
and Ray
That's
Fiennes.
part of the ride.
Dragon.
And Ray Fiennes.
And what of Emma Watson?
Yeah, fake Emma Watson. Fake all of those, actually.
Yeah.
Other thoughts? I'm gabbing because I really hate the narrative of the Mummy. But anybody else?
So I feel like I'm really tied because, just to preface, I went to school. My college was on the back lot of Universal, so we actually were. Our closest park entrance from school was the New York section. So whenever we were really sick at school or we wanted to take a break, we would always go and ride the Mummy. I'm
confused. You would play hooky, but like most kids would play hooky from school and leave school and go to like a theme park in Orlando. You just legitimately were right there.
Yes.
Like you could do it on your off periods.
Yeah,
like your jungle gym.
That's
like
That's amazing.
That was my Starbucks every day was the one in New York. So we spent a lot of time in New York, and I rode the Mummy so much. But I was also there when they built Diagon Alley, and I got to see the whole thing open. I got to go to a couple of soft openings. I got to go to Gringotts when it opened with no lines. So I feel like personally, these both have a very special connection to me. But I'm gonna go Mummy.
Okay. Legitimate. So we have one Mummy. We have one Gringotts from me. Though, you know what? Can I say something that breaks my heart? I think this is an easy example of why Universal has problems. You go in the Gringotts line, that queue with all those animatronics, and it's beautiful. And if you then kind of get around the corner, there's those marble, pillars holding up the bank. And if you look too closely, you realize it's just marble wallpaper. Like you can see the line.
The seam of the contact paper.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so for me, it's like, look at all this. This is classic Universal. We've spent all this money on these robots and all of this decor, and then just that. Like we seem to not be able to cross our eyes and cross our eyes.
Yeah,
they dot our eyes and
cross
their
teeth. That's
they really do. That's probably the problem. But Gringotts for me is it's a fun queue, and I can understand the narrative.
Right, there's a rant going on in chat that I think Patrick agrees with, and I want to hear this. If the timeline for what happens in Gringotts doesn't line up with what Diagon should be at that point in time.
It doesn't line up with the movie at all. It doesn't make any sense. I'm saying it just, if you are the person inside the ride, it legitimately makes sense. Whereas Mummy, I have no idea what it's supposed to be the whole time.
You're supposed to ride the movies. So you're riding the movie museum, transported to New York. Shut up, Brendan Fraser's there. 2 for Mummy.
It would be, see, that's the thing though. It would be ride the movies if they kept the set idea and then they were like, oh, actually, like, we might have some props here that are actually cursed, which they sort of.
The set is haunted.
Yeah. Right, but they don't at all. They just like, you're in the middle of a temple really quickly with like things that pop up, and it's something. Anyway, I'm done complaining. We have Patrick for Mummy, right? Me for Gringotts, Alicia for Mummy. Fig?
Let's see. Gringotts is like my favorite of the Harry Potter rides because the other one gets me really sick.
Oh.
So I love Gringotts. I love that Helena Bonham Carter is in it. But it seems like the queue goes on forever. Like once you go through the bank, and then
have you ever done single rider on it?
I've single ridered only.
Sometimes I remember just going like when it first opened. It was like one of those horrendous like 2-hour like waits, and it kept like going down. And at that point, you're like, I've been in here for 2 hours. I'm riding it. But you're just like delirious at that point. And I love the ride. It's actually really fun. I like that it's an actual coaster, not just all screens and stuff. But I gotta go with Mummy. Like,
Okay.
my boo Benton Fraser. Like I have to. I love that ride.
I recommend Gringotts single rider because it's the longest hallway. Beyond, I think Fast and Furious had a long hallway too. They make the A and B when it comes to Universal is like your A, like if they want to get you A and B, it's just a straight hallway. So Patrick is Mummy, Alicia is Mummy, Fig is Mummy. I'm Sane. Anyone else?
I feel like Gringotts. I have to go with this, or my girlfriend will kill me.
Ben can't lose a girlfriend. It's.
But honestly, I have not been on either of these. One by choice and one because I haven't been down since it opened. And
Okay.
I think that's the beginning and end of this discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
The tiebreaker. Well,
I'm the tiebreaker.
Well, you're not a tiebreaker, but you'll make it a tie if you pick Gringotts.
Well,
no pressure.
I gotta tell you, Nathan, you have described the Mummy as a narrative mess, and I have to be honest with you, that is my dream ride. I love a ride where I walk off saying, what the hell did I just do?
And you walk into that cheesy like antiquities like gift shop with like Egyptian like headdresses. It's garbage.
I know all it does is remind me of the regret that I did not do confrontation while it was open, but I just love a thrill ride that leaves me wondering, that leaves me questioning my own motives.
Yeah.
I love, I love when rides are good, but I also like when rides are bad.
Right. No two rides have ever like stopped and started more in the history of rides. Both of these just love to stop. I like my to finish this up, my heart sort of swells at the final music cue in Gringotts though. There's something about that Williams score and how well they have crafted sound inside of those cars. It's really tremendous how good that ride sounds. But it goes to Mummy. We got to keep moving. We have an hour.
Oh boy.
And we are just scratching the surface. Don't worry, we need these big ones because a lot of these are going to be easy calls, I think. So we have Mummy. Now it's Transformers 3D versus Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. Thoughts, people?
I'm going to start here because I'm going to have a very unpopular opinion. I'm sure I am voting for Rip Ride Rocket, and no one would be able to tell me otherwise. I thoroughly enjoy this attraction. Mainly because of the secret song menu on this. If you're on,
that's fair.
You're not limited to I think it's 25 or 30 songs, something like that. That they advertise that this ride has. When you sit down in the car, if you long press for like 5 or 6 seconds on the logo on your touch screen, when you take your thumb off of it, you'll get a keypad. You can type in a 3-digit number. If you go look up online, you can find mappings for what all the 3-digit numbers go to. You can find Modest Mouse Float On. You can find Kermit the Frog Rainbow Connection. You can find a ton of things on this ride. It is ridiculous. I love it. It is different every single time you ride it, and you get very ridiculous rides and you get very smooth rides. Float On is one of the greatest roller coaster experiences I've ever had in a theme park or anywhere else. I guess I don't have a roller coaster outside a theme park. Anyways, A+ would recommend Rip Ride Rocket.
So Ben's for Rip Ride Rocket. Soberman.
Well, this is also another twist. I have never been on Rip Ride Rocket. That being said, I have not done Transformers in Florida. I have done it in California, though. I think Ben's argument convinced me. Transformers, I like, it's fine, but it just reminds me that Spider-Man's next door, and I could be doing that and having a much better time.
Yeah.
I've never been terribly attached to the Transformers characters. I was kind of that in-between generation between the cartoon and the Michael Bay films. So, I mean, Rip Ride Rocket, the marriage of roller coaster and music, something I have dreamed of because, let's be honest, the only thing a good coaster is missing is a soundtrack. I think I'm going to throw my vote to Rip Ride Rocket.
Okay. Fig.
I'm going with Rip Ride Rocket. The Ascent lately, like at first I used to be like, yo, this is so cool. And now like I'm like, oh God, I'm getting way too old for this. And like the full vertical, like it freaks me out. And I didn't know about that really neat like secret menu. Like I don't know how many times I've gone and stuck on that ride, like listening to like Nickelback or something. And I'm like, but the ride is super smooth. I love it. And Transformers doesn't really, it's meh. So great ride.
Alicia.
I don't like either of these, but I will say that Transformers makes you wish that you were on Spider-Man, so I'll just default to Rocket.
Patrick.
I am too fat to go on Rip Ride Rocket. It's pretty sad. So hopefully I've lost 40 pounds. I can get on it, but I will go with Transformers because I can fit on that attraction.
Hey, that's a good reason. I will go Rip Ride Rocket. I've never done Rip Ride Rocket. I have no interest in doing Rip Ride Rocket. I am a chicken boy who does not have any interest in thrills and chills if it's not that themed. And it sort of looks to me like Rock and Roller Coaster esque with the music. Is it very blary in your ears like Rock and Roller Coaster? Or is it?
No.
That's so nice.
It's really impressive how high quality the audio is without blowing your ears out.
Yeah, because Rock and Roller Coaster is hot garbage when it comes to that. I use earbuds. So I'm Rocket as well, even though you'll never get me on it.
Oh gosh, can we get Rip Ride Rocket Raccoon?
Rip Ride Rocket Raccoon would be excellent.
I'm just gonna say this: is Rip Ride Rocket the second greatest Muppet attraction?
Oh, that's interesting because you could do Rainbow Connection. That's
and moving right along, I believe.
Oh, interesting.
Also there. Yeah.
It looks like good. I thought my computer was gonna freeze. Okay, so next up we got to keep moving here. It is 1:05. We have 55 minutes. Fear Factor Live versus Horror Makeup Show. Yes, shows are included because there's not enough. Horror Makeup Show versus Fear Factor Live. Let's go backwards, Patrick.
Oh God, the Horror Makeup Show is actually good. I'll go with that.
Alicia.
Horror makeup's awesome. I'm going with that.
Same. Horror makeup.
Horror makeup.
Silverman. It's unanimous.
Yeah, I'll go horror makeup.
A1 attraction. Man.
And easy.
Yeah, Fear Factor is it depends on who's doing it for one. And also Fear Factor. I can't believe that's still happening. It won't anymore.
Is that like the stunt show? Like the one where you sign up and then you can do it?
Yeah.
I want to do it one of these days.
You better do it soon because I think it's about up.
They show these guys do all these weird stunts to win prizes. Oh, what do they win? A T-shirt.
Yeah.
I would like it to be known. Just quick thought.
Yes.
There is a montage in the Horror Makeup Show of Universal's Legacy of Horror. However, there is one character they show that is very much not from a horror movie, from a comedy. It is Monty Python's The Meaning of Life. They show John Cleese as the Grim Reaper.
Oh,
nice.
Now for the greatest matchup of all time: Fast and Furious Supercharged versus Jimmy Fallon Race Through New York. Oh.
Can I throw my vote in early? Because I'm going to be honest, I've done neither of these, but I've heard mixed reviews about Jimmy Fallon, and I've heard nothing but negative reviews about Fast and Furious.
That's fair.
So I think I'm going to go Jimmy Fallon. I do like the exterior. As a New Yorker, they did nail the aesthetic of a Rockefeller Center. So I'm going to throw my vote to Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
Even though I do not watch him regularly.
Right. Fig?
I haven't ridden either. But my vote is for Fast and the Furious because I'm kind of like that generation. Like, so I'm just going to go with that.
Okay.
That's my vote.
I agree with Fig.
Okay.
For the same reason.
we have two Fast and the Furious, one Fallon. Patrick?
So I was really enjoying Fast and the Furious. I'm like, everybody's wrong about this attraction. It's fun. It's stupid. The Rock is in it. He's going to be our next president. And
you're welcome.
It just ends. And I was so upset. Oh, I got to go with Fallon. Fallon's better. It has a great queue and there's pizza smells.
Yeah. Ben?
I got to go with Fallon as well. I have not ridden either of these, but the queue experience and also the queue technology in Fallon is something else.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really cool idea. Fast and the Furious, I don't enjoy this franchise and cannot will myself to vote for it, even if that attraction ends up being like the greatest attraction out there. The Fast and the Furious is going to have way too many installments. Die, please die. I don't mean that like I want to take a knife to it and stab it. Just like go to a nursing home, be the rest of your life in quiet, and don't quit putting yourself out there like this. It's not. We want more things that are different.
Fallon is not a fun ride necessarily. It is like Minion Mayhem in the sense that you just sit in a theater and do a thing. The queue is really pretty, and that's well thought out. The queue also makes me sad because they have the Conan O'Brien cabinet, which has 1 year on it. Compared to everybody else. If this was a Conan, so here's what I really hate. Conan like created the idea of desk driving through New York in his show, and then Fallon basically steals it and makes a theme park right out of it. Like it's Conan's bit. If it was a Conan, I would be on this ride every time I went if it was a Conan O'Brien ride.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon means nothing to me. Like I'm just like, who?
Absolutely, I completely agree.
I do have a claim to fame. I did buy the last intact Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien mug at the NBC store.
That's awesome.
Rockefeller Center.
That's so cool. Here's my thing, and look, I am not accusing Fallon of anything. To be very clear, but in this Me Too movement of people getting found out for things. Can you imagine the idea of putting an entire ride can you imagine if there was a Bill Cosby ride?
I mean, look what happened in Hollywood Studios with the Hall of Fame courtyard. Look how quickly that was gone.
Right. So what do you do if you spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on something, and then the person it's not Mickey Mouse, it's not a character you can control. This person does something or has a problem, or it's tax problems. I'm not even talking about Fallon. I'm just saying anybody. What do you do? It is not a fail-safe way to have a ride. What if Jimmy Fallon dies in a car accident tomorrow? What are they going to do?
Yeah,
having a race through New York would be a very tasteless attraction.
It really would.
I think they'll do what they're going to do and just change the redhead scene and just leave them in the attraction entirely.
Oh, I've got it. They can do a Honey, I Shrunk the Audience style micro adventure called A Closer Look with Seth Meyers.
I would already be for that more than whatever Jimmy Fallon does.
Or just make the Saturday Night Live attraction they rumored.
Weekend update.
Yeah.
I mean, even just an exhibit would be awesome.
Right. The problem, that's true. The problem, of course, with SNL is that the changeover is so high. So I think, though, with all our conversations, Fast and the Furious is the worst ride I've ever written in my entire life. Period. I count Cat in the Hat in that. Like,
I think
to get to that.
We'll get there. But my point being, look, it's Cat in the Hat. I'm saying is like kind of weak right now, and don't. Okay, we're gonna get there. But what I'm saying is Fast and Furious is really. It's not terrible in the sense that it's poorly made. It's terrible in the sense that it's lazily made. It's so bad, and it does not care about it. It knew it could get people in there, and they didn't have to do anything for it. The only thing that I like about it is when you go through the dark part in the tunnel, I don't think you're actually moving, but it's dark for a little bit there. There's a light. The projectors are showing lights going by you quickly, and it does trick your brain into thinking that you're actually moving in those moments. It's the moment, though, that the lights go up and you see the rest of the projection stuff, and boy, does it not feel like anything at all. Like, it's astonishingly how they convinced themselves that they could take such a tram tour thing and not do anything with it and make it work. Anybody else want to trash on Furious?
No, but
I'll stand up for Kong. We'll get there.
I was gonna say I have done the Kong part of the Universal Studios tour in Hollywood, which seems aesthetically like the same thing.
It is, yeah, but less so.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Jedwood in chat. Fast and the Furious is Universal's journey into your imagination.
That's true. It'd be way better if it was Eric Idle and not Vin Diesel, though. Let's see here.
I guess their journey into imagination with Figment was disaster, so they went from good to okay to bad.
Well, it was Earthquake even before that. I mean, it's
Earthquake was the best of the three.
So it's Jimmy Fallon, just thanks to where it's at. All right, let's go over to Islands of Adventure. So
I think for the sake of time, it might be better if we could like finish this off because we just made all these arguments. I bet you that we could probably get this down.
Okay. We'll do the whole round. I think we'll be okay on time. Patrick, you mentioned that you would delay. You're thinking about delaying Park Center, or not Park Center. I'm sorry, I'm getting all my things mixed up. Around the Hub.
There's an hour window for Parks Pursuit, and there's also an hour blank spot after it. So we do have some time. But we should push time in mind.
Yeah, we'll keep moving forward here. We got 45 minutes. We can break through this. So let's go. These are going to be maybe a little faster. Anything on here that we can just immediately say yes to?
Horror makeup.
Yeah.
Horror makeup over Fallon.
Can we agree Mummy over Rocket?
I can.
No.
Oh, sorry. There's an argument from Ben.
There's an argument there.
Can we like blow past E.T. over Twirl and Hurl?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think we can.
Over everything.
Okay,
Yeah.
E.T. wins this round.
Yes.
Simpsons versus Shrek. I think this is easy, but
I mean, I go Simpsons.
Yeah.
I'm Simpsons. Anyone Shrek?
I'll concede.
No.
Okay.
Resolved.
Okay, so now we got to talk Mummy versus Rip Ride Rocket, and then we can finish this up. So I'm going to go back to the grid. Hi, everybody. Rip Ride Rocket versus Mummy.
I am kind of surprised that somebody tried to shortcut this one. Like this, and I should Rip Ride Rocket. Like it's a roller coaster the whole way through, and you know what the theme is. It's
what is the theme of Rip Ride Rocket? Tell me.
Thank you. Thank you.
That you are riding the music. Universal has you ride the movies, and this is you riding the music.
You can't ride music. It's not
so
thing.
Audio surf. Call.
Excuse me. Does Disney not have an attraction where you ride rock and roll music?
No, you don't. You are going through Hollywood.
I went to a concert.
Yeah,
the France
on a
version,
stretch
you're
limo.
Riding the music there. That is a trippy music video the whole way through.
Not bother with that while in France.
But it's the rock and roller coaster avec Aerosmith.
Avec.
Ride Rocket was supposed to be so much more than it is. It is a perfect example of what we were talking about with Universal, that they half-butt it all the time.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be an impressive attraction through facades into other attractions. And it's an off-the-shelf coaster with music.
A good one, but off the shelf nonetheless. My hat.
It's the next iteration of Rock and Roller Coaster. And yeah, it's great. Mummy is so original. It makes Nathan so angry.
It's so original. It's so original. It's 5 different stories in one.
But at least it has a story. You know, like, have you ever, like, the Rocket that the queue is awful. You just have these TVs with like those old-timey graphics. And they're not even like cool or nostalgic at all. It's just,
it feels like a jukebox in your dive bar.
There is also that terrifying moment every time you go on Rocket where you're not sure you're going to get belted in time because it's like an omni mover. You have to catch up with the car. And I freak out every time. I'm like, nope, not going to make it. Not going to make it.
I'm not going to make it.
Rip Ride could be a Rip Ride. As much as I didn't vote for it last time because of what it was against. I also won't vote for it this time because it is close to being a like the top tier Six Flags ride.
Oh yeah,
it could be the greatest Six Flags ride.
Like, it's a ride right there. That's how is it Batman? I don't know. It's black.
Right.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'll probably do a crazy roller coaster. If it has no theming, I have no interest. Like we'll get to Hulk, but that's my reason for not going on Hulk either. Oh, and I'm a weenie. But besides that,
Weenie Hut Jr.
Yeah, exactly.
That's okay. So, I didn't do looping coasters until like 5 years ago. So.
What are you trying to tell me, Silverman? That I'll grow up one day?
No, I'm just saying it's not unusual.
Not unusual to be scared of roller coasters.
Yeah, it's Mummy for sure. Patrick is getting eager to keep moving.
Mummy.
Even I understand that Mummy is better than
I admit defeat.
So I believe this confusion. Plus, they had to demolish part of the Ghostbusters firehouse for Rip Ride Rocket, and that breaks.
That's fair.
So let's see here.
Sorry.
As you may see a sneak preview of my leanings towards the beloved former attractions bracket.
So now it is Simpsons versus ET.
Oh God.
That's easy.
Oh, I know
That's
for
so
Fig
easy.
it's easy, but
It's
as someone who genuinely loves the Simpsons ride, this is tougher than you might think for me.
Can I just say that Fig and I are voting ET? Are we? We got that?
Yeah, there's two ETs right there.
The Simpsons land is stronger than the ride itself. Like, I love Simpsons land, but that ride is really like, I'll go to the land and experience it, but I can miss the ride and still feel fully immersed.
I'm also ET, that queue alone.
All right.
Make it 4.
Then it's over. ET.
Then I will throw my vote to the Simpsons just to say it didn't get nothing.
Patrick, were you Simpsons?
No, ET.
ET. Penn, what were you?
ET for sure.
Okay, then that is.
I do believe ET is the superior attraction, but I will throw my vote to Simpsons.
I agree. It doesn't deserve to go here.
Yeah.
Okay. They are very different. That's the other thing, is there's not a lot of equivalencies when it comes to comparing at this point. Mummy versus horror makeup.
Mummy.
Oh.
I think I got to go horror makeup on this one.
Nice.
As fun as Mummy is, it is the last semi-educational attraction in a studio park. I mean, God knows how fast that studio tour came and went in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Plus Hitchcock's gone. It's the last studio. It's in a studio park. It's the last attraction that really shows off what a movie studio does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So my vote's for horror makeup.
For repeat value alone, it's got to be Mummy, because you can only see horror makeup like once. It's like Indiana Jones. Like, I love Indiana Jones. Let me look behind me. There's like novels and novels and novels from Indiana Jones Adventures and comic books and all sorts of stuff. But I don't go see Indiana Jones stunt show all the time because it's the same thing all the time. So so is Mummy, of course, in the sense, but I don't get a thrill, I guess. So for me, I don't like it, but I think it's going to have to be Mummy for me.
Agree. It's Mummy.
Mummy, Ben's Mummy. I'm Mummy. Soberman, you are horror makeup. Patrick?
I see that Mummy is victorious, but I would have went with horror makeup. I think it's classic and classically Universal monsters. It feels important. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Anybody else?
You can just go eat that at the Monster Cafe. It's fine.
So Patrick is upset. I don't think there's any way around it. I don't like that I have to put Mummy up this high, but it is.
I will say I think it will make things easier for ET.
It's ET versus Mummy. I know where I'm landing on this one. But
I think everyone knows. But
this is actually pretty hard. Like, these are my top two. Like, if I went to Universal, I'd be going to those two and like leaving home happy.
Is anyone screaming in the chats about how ET is this far up? Because I feel like some people are like, this is not a thing. Like,
chat so far has seemed pleased that ET keeps moving like this.
Okay, good. Not that I need to please the chat. You guys need to donate more. I need to please you. You need to donate more. Toys.wdwnt.com.
Please.
Go for the tots.
For the tots. Patrick?
Oh man, it's ET. ET feels like it should be in a Disney park. It's a classic dark ride, and it's wonderful in every way, shape, or form. And I don't know who the Universal equivalent of Bob Chapek is, but whoever you are, Tony Universal, if you take it away, there will be a comeuppance, sir or madam.
Just give it the love it deserves, like it's
It doesn't need love. It's perfect just the way it is.
To answer Patrick's question, I believe the Universal equivalent would be Terry Koo, who was a former Disney Imagineer. I believe he worked on Disneyland Paris before moving over to Universal.
Why would you give someone a job for working on that park?
Well, it's Universal. So, I think we are ET on this one. Are we not?
Yeah, I'm voting.
I'm going ET mainly because think of it in terms of like queue smells.
Yeah.
Yes.
The ET queue smells amazing. The queue in Mummy, depending on who's there, can be horrendous.
It smells like sweat the whole time.
It's awful.
It's really bad.
I will say it is thematic. It is story-wise far more consistent. You're in a studio. You're on the set. You're in this new ET adventure. You get off. You're back in the set. It does not change. You're
Yeah.
from studio to movie to back to studio.
Right. So E.T. Adventure it is. That finishes that category up. E.T. Adventure.
Ooh. Woo.
We're moving on to Islands of Adventure. We're going to go a little quicker this time around because I think some of these are easier. We're going to start with Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man versus the Incredible Hulk Coaster. Do we really need to have a conversation?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
I love these both.
All right, let's talk.
Adventures of Spider-Man is the greatest attraction in Orlando. Oh no, wait, I went on Flight of Passage. So yeah, it's
Second.
Yep.
yeah, it's the second greatest attraction in Orlando.
I unfortunately also get really sick in Spider-Man, but I love the queue. And actually, ever since Stan Lee's passing, that people have started leaving flowers and like love notes all across the queue. But I also love the Hulk queue. I actually love the old school one before they refurbished it and like threw in the Fall Out Boy track. But yeah, I don't know. I gotta think about this one a little bit.
I'm a glorious weenie, so it's Spider-Man for me, but also because it's I love that ride. I
Universal's best. In fact, I can see Spider-Man winning the entire Islands of Adventure bracket.
I can see it winning this whole tournament.
Yeah.
Hulk.
So we have a Hulk from Fig.
I'm Hulk.
Fig's a Hulk. I am a Spider-Man. Patrick is a Spider-Man. Ben is a Spider-Man. I think we're done, right? This is Spider-Man.
I'm a Spider-Girl, but yes.
Yeah. Would you like to be would you like to be a Spider-Gwen? Because you can be a Spider-Gwen.
I would love to be a Spider-Gwen.
Okay.
So Spider-Man is feeling good right now.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, too soon.
Let me ask you a question though. If Spider-Man, I forget the tagline of the new one, the cartoon, which I'm very excited about. What's the
cartoon with all the universes?
Yeah, what's the
Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
If this is as good as it's at 100% right now on Rotten Tomatoes, if it's as good as it seems it will be, what about a new version of the Spider-Man ride with that?
Don't touch it. I will chain myself to that ride.
It also seems like there are too many moving parts because you have to go through Sony for that because it's a Sony film, and I don't see Universal.
It's a Paramount Animation.
No, it's Sony.
Oh, it's Sony Animation. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Sony Animation. Patrick.
Yeah.
What?
It has nothing to do with that, the changing of it. I mean, they're not going to really mess with that right now.
No, they're not actually going to do anything to this ride. I'm just saying.
I don't see Universal doing any new Marvel attractions.
No, they're not going to.
Pick it up, put it in Hollywood Studios.
I completely agree. I don't know how they convince them. I don't think they're going to convince anyone to do it, and it's so sad. But my heart hurts for the fact that to get Marvel where it needs to be and have the robust land that it needs at Disney World, I will have to lose Spider-Man. I don't think there's a way around it. So we are moving forward. Spider-Man is the winner of this round. Next up is Skull Island: Reign of Kong versus Jurassic Park: River Adventure.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Down.
So good.
I
think
spared no expense. Yeah.
Oh, they spared expense.
And it still doesn't work properly.
That ride, last time I was on it, the Brontosaurus, its neck came up like this.
They look really rough lately. I hadn't been on this ride for a while, and I just recently did it, and I was like, what happened to these things? Please.
Yeah.
Don't give me the Jurassic World redo. I don't want that.
No. I don't think anyone wants it. I know it's a huge box office boon, but I don't think people are going to remember Jurassic World.
No, I don't want Jurassic World. I want Jurassic Park, the all Jeff Goldblum edition.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of Ian Malcolms running around.
Has anyone ever seen there's on YouTube, you can look for it. There's a home video of Jurassic Park ride when it just opened. The smoothness of those animatronics and the T-Rex is incredible. It is so well done. Clearly this is the better two of the Jurassic Parks. I'm fine with Hollywood getting its refurb because the T-Rex comes out on a swing. It's clearly we're not talking about Reign of Kong.
That Disney doesn't have any problems like that with their animatronics, where they put these big complex animatronics in throw rides and then have them slowly degrade in performance over time.
Yeah, at least there's no problems. I would say that to stand up a little bit for Skull Island, it's the better of the two screen-based virtual experiences. There's animatronics; it's really pretty.
Beautiful queue with that witch.
The queue is terrifying as hell, and
so great.
I don't ride it. If it's not like a 10-minute wait and I can just kind of look down and run through, I have no interest because I don't want to get scared. I don't. It's so weird to me that they made this
So with you.
Yeah, it's so weird to me that they made this Peter Jackson version of a ride when they have a new version already out. And I know it's probably corporate synergy and issues there. But at the same time, it's like so dark and it doesn't need to be. I love the vibe. I just think that they took it like to 12 instead of 9 on the Richter scale. And they should have just kept it at 9. It's too scary. The queue is. It's just too scary.
Especially when they have the scare actors in there, like they did when it opened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and it's still there. No, that's what I'm saying. They're still there. I don't mind that queue if there's no scare actors. The problem is I don't know when there are scare actors and when there aren't.
Yeah, they don't warn you out front.
No.
So you're saying it's like Halloween Horror Nights in a ride?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Interesting.
In the queue.
They
Most
do
of the
that
time
in
there's
Halloween
one at
too.
least.
Patrick's trying to say things, I think.
No, I'm saying no. I don't know what's going on with my mic. I'm doing the best I can. I have to be like here to get actual sound. But yeah, no, it's too scary. Too scary.
Yeah, too scary. Are you holding your mic, Patrick, or is there a way to hold it? Is it a tiny mic?
I could.
Yeah, just hold it.
Yeah, sure. That sounds like fun. So let's fix the camera then.
Yeah, that's a little better.
You know what, Nathan? You think as a professional radio broadcaster for several years, I would know things like that.
Boy, it was fun to watch your head slowly go down when you wanted to speak. It's like you were talking to your groin. It was really strange. So we're going to move forward here as time allows. And let's see here. We have moved Jurassic into, Jurassic, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You know what? I love this one. Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Rat Barges versus Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls.
It's an easy one for me.
It's an easy one for me as well.
I've never been either because I hate getting wet at theme parks.
You have to go prepared to get
Yeah.
Which is a testament to how much I love Jurassic Park because I will get wet for that ride.
Yeah. Phrasing. So, I think the key here is that let me complain about the fact that I know lockers at Animal Kingdom you have to pay for as well, but it's hot garbage that half the rides at Islands of Adventure cause you to be completely drenched and they don't offer you free lockers. That's nonsense.
That's the plan.
And you have to pay for the dryer thing.
Yeah. Which you have to do at Grizzly River Run as well, the dryer things. They have those.
That's new though, isn't it?
That's new. Mm-hmm.
I bought the best towel I have after I went on Bilge Rats. It's such a good Universal towel. I love it so much.
What's on it?
It's just the logo. It's just the globe logo. It's really nice, but it's a quality towel, and I was soaked, and it was a good deal. So I got it. This is tough because, once again, it was supposed to be so much more at Ripsaw Falls. They had these ideas of the logs splitting apart and coming back together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's such a neat idea. Too.
Oh,
it was supposed to be so much more, but I got to go at Ripsaw Falls just because I love those characters more than I love Popeye.
I don't disagree. They're great characters. I really do love it. We have a donation, Patrick. You said we have a donation.
We have a $25 donation from David Lung. Thank you for everything you guys do. Thank you, David.
It's weird that we play Six Flags music every time.
I have no idea how that tradition started.
So I Ripsaw Falls might be the worst condition of any ride in all of Islands.
Yeah, it's taking a beating. But darn if that isn't fun.
It is
so
taking
fun.
a beating. It is there's mold in that ride. You can feel it while you're in the queue. Does
it splash on you then? Like you're
kinda. You're underneath.
You go underneath water almost. Like you get like. Yeah,
it's rough. And Bilge Rats for me is, though you can sort of see some of the mechanics, they've gotten a little lax on making sure. Like there's one where you see what's the baby's name? Anyway, you see the baby sort of hanging, and you can see like his arm has got a little extended, and there's like a metal rod. So there's some issues like that. But Bilge Rats is the best. I would say that is the best raft in Orlando.
Yeah, it's better than Cali.
100% better than Cali.
Yeah,
it's a low bar.
It's a low bar for sure. But I'm going Popeye. We got to keep moving. Ben?
I don't have particularly strong opinions on this. I'm going to go with Dudley Do Right, honestly, just because I have memories of that attraction and I don't have any of Bilge Rat.
Okay. Do Right for you, Soberman.
I grew up on the Rocky and Bullwinkle videotapes. I gotta stand up for Dudley Do Right.
Do Right for Soberman. Fig.
Which is the one that you walk past that there are like cannons and you can see like people falling?
Bilge Rat.
Yeah, Popeye.
There you go.
Okay.
It's because it's
Popeye
fun
for
watching
Fig.
people.
Alicia.
You convinced me with your mold argument. I'm gonna go Popeye.
Patrick.
I went with the Ripsaw Falls.
Okay, that's 3 and 3. So chat.
All right.
Chat,
what
you
are we
have-
doing?
Chat, I'm going to put a clock up for 30 seconds. And in the next 30 seconds, anything that comes in gets counted. We are at
Come
30
on,
seconds.
people.
Bit of a delay.
I believe in you.
Wait, what? No donation.
While we're waiting for chat here, let's talk a little bit about Toys for Tots. That's the reason.
You have 5 seconds.
We got a donation just a moment ago for Toys for Tots. You can donate yourself over at toys.wwnt.com.
That's 30 seconds.
And time.
Tots.
Yeah, everyone vote for Tots. But did the votes come in?
Oh, we have one. We have 2 votes. 2 votes for Ripsaw. They're all coming in now.
Ripsaw.
Oh, we have one for Popeye.
It looks like it's Ripsaw.
Another Ripsaw.
Oh.
Guys, you need to go on
I'm
Ripsaw because it's look, Ripsaw. You can't hear anything in that queue anymore. All the videos look rough. It's a mess in there. And Popeye its minimalism has helped it over the years. Oh, this is going to be a very dumb one. I should have taken the thing away already, but here we go. We're gonna bring it back. It is Dr. Doom's Fearfall versus Stormforce Acceleratron, I should say. Let's do this one quick.
Dr. Doom.
Move Ripsaw to the next round.
I am fine with that. Anyone have any issues with moving Ripsaw?
No.
Oh, go for it.
Beats both
Okay.
of these.
I think it's going to be Doom here. And then we're gonna go Ripsaw.
Terrible attractions. They're
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, they're really bad. Poseidon's Fury versus Eighth Voyage of Sinbad. Of course, it's just closed, but we count it because it literally just closed. Thoughts?
Poseidon's Fury.
Poseidon.
Yeah,
All right.
Poseidon.
I love Poseidon's Fury.
I
love it 'cause
quietly
it's
love
terrible.
Poseidon. Yeah.
So cheesy. It's so great.
It's like, now move into this next section. Now move into this next section.
But the tunnel where
The
you're
water tunnel.
Oh,
Yes.
I hadn't been on it in like a
So
couple years,
great.
and I went back and I totally forgot that the whole set disappears around you at that one point. I totally forgot, and I was like, so it still gets me. Anyone else? Anyone disagree? Poseidon's Fury, it is. See, I told you, some of these would move really quickly.
Chat seems to disagree slightly, but
What's chat have to say? Who really liked Sinbad?
Sinbad, real quick from Jedwa.
Jesse.
Okay, well,
Poseidon is great too,
Sorry,
so
chat.
it's not exactly a massive upset
man.
here.
all right. Next one is Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey versus Flight of the Hippogriff. I feel like this one can go pretty quickly.
Yeah, Forbidden
Forbidden
Journey.
Forbidden
Good
Journey.
and dirty.
Yeah, it's a beautiful queue, and it's I don't really like having Dementors like straight up. I still haven't seen the whole thing. My eyes automatically close because I'm a scaredy cat. I'll get to it. I get one extra thing in per ride, basically.
I'm like passed out by the time the giant spider comes at you. Like that's it. I'm
Oh.
done.
Oh.
Let's give a one moment though to the fact that that ride held me upside down for about 5 minutes once when it stopped.
Oh,
dear.
jeez.
And that's what that ride does, and I can't understand. I mean, maybe it was like that, but
They don't go full. It's like it's pretty close.
Weeping Willow is exactly when it hit. So it was like
it tilts you back past vertical, past horizontal, and you can start getting a bit of a blood rush. And honestly, I think in cases where that attraction goes down like that, they need to have something programmed where it will kind of prop you up slowly over time.
Right.
So you don't get stuck in a bad position.
Yeah, I think that one's a bit on the rails. I think it's easy to see. If you look for it, it's easy to see the I love that it's I mean, Kukla arms. That's really, really cool.
It's really good tech.
I just think that it's if you look a little bit this way or a little bit that way, it's
That's it.
everything. So I wish it'd be 3D here. It should be 3D here as well.
Agree.
Okay, so we're back on the hunt. This is Cat in the I'm telling you guys, some of these are easy. Cat in the Hat versus the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley Train Ride.
Cat in the
Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
Cat in the Hat.
What?
Is it Cat and the Hat or Cat in the
No,
Hat?
Cat in the Hat.
That's what I thought. I don't know why I wrote Cat in the Hat, but I did. So it's Cat in the Hat. That ride.
Thing one and thing two. It's so great.
Yeah, it's really dusty though, that ride. I think they've dusted it recently, but oh. Okay, I'm gonna get this name wrong. Is it Paradon?
Pterodon.
Paradon.
The P.
Pterodon Flyers versus One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. I've never got to ride Flyers, but one of these days I will have a child and I will sire him exclusively so I can ride.
I recently
You can
found
use their child
out.
rental service.
Exactly. There are
What?
parents, if you go hang out like in front of this ride, if you've talked to like parents and you gotta be like cool about it, don't be creepy and be like, can I take your kid?
Can I
they'll
be your child?
Yeah, no, there's like some parents who are like, no, take them. We want to go get a beer. And they'll like go and
That's so
they'll go like get a
impossible.
drink and you can go
I'll
ride
never
the
do that.
Flyers.
There's no
Yeah.
way I'm ever going to ask that question. I'm a male. And
That's true.
Yeah.
True.
I've always
Yeah.
wanted to ride it, and I'm like tiny enough that I can like do like the kid seat, but like
there was a Jurassic Park night where they opened it up for everybody at night,
I want to do that.
and that would have been cool.
Chad is correcting us. It's Pteranodon. They're
Shut up,
actually-
nerds. No one cares. Moving forward.
Hey, those nerds are donating to our.
They're not donating enough. They're
If
not
you
donating.
donate the correct pronunciation, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
is One Fish, Two
Point in
Fish
time.
the like carousel? The Dr.
Yes, a carousel.
Yeah.
Oh come on, that's awesome.
Well, I don't think you have enough votes. Okay, so we're moving on to Spider-Man versus Jurassic.
Spider-Man.
I think
That's-
Spider-Man. Yeah.
You
Spider-Man.
just go Hamilton on us right there, Nathan.
Did I? What did I do?
I don't think you have the votes.
I don't think you have
Yeah.
the votes. I didn't even recognize that I did it, but it's true. All right, Poseidon's Fury versus Forbidden.
Forbidden.
I think Forbidden.
See, I was worried that we were going to run out of time, but I knew some of this was
Forbidden.
going to go real quick. Cat in the Hat
Forbidden.
versus Fly.
Forbidden.
For ribbon?
For ribbon.
Forbidden.
Forbidden.
So it's now, I don't know what happened to this box. It's here. It's Spider-Man versus Forbidden. Or no,
No,
it's-
hold on. We haven't done Cat in the
We
Hat
haven't done
versus
Cat in the
Oh,
Hat yet.
I'm sorry.
versus Pterodon. I'm gonna say Cat in the Hat.
Pterodon.
I'm going to say Cat in the Hat.
Yeah,
Cat in the Hat.
It is a ride, actually. So
yeah. We're allowed to go on that
I
one.
do remember when I was small enough to ride Pterodon Flyers. I did have a good time, but Cat in the Hat I think is the superior attraction in this case.
So now we have Spider-Man versus Ripsaw.
Oh,
Spider-Man.
oh, I think I want Ripsaw, but I think it's Spider-Man.
Forbidden Journey versus Cat in the Hat.
Forbidden
Forbidden.
Journey.
Forbidden. For ribbon. God.
EIDDEN.
What am I doing?
Forbidden.
Forbidden. Right?
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys, I've been up way too long.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man versus Forbidden.
Oh, that's
Oh
tough.
gosh, there's a
Spider-Man.
donation
So
in
hard.
YouTube chat.
For what?
Tara.
$5 from Jesse Edwards. Pteranodon.
Pteranodon. I
Thank
apologize.
you.
Pteranodon. We will go.
Pteranodon.
We will say
Flyers.
Pteranodon Flyers. Pteranodon Flyers. There, I
Thank
said
you
it.
to all the
Thank you
famous
so
colleges
much.
watching.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are now at Spider-Man versus Forbidden.
Oof.
Spider-Man.
There we go. Here's the fight.
For the feels. Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man for me.
I'm going Forbidden Journey.
Going Forbidden Journey.
Oh God, this is so
Ben
tough.
and I agreed with something.
Boy, this is hard, guys. I'm not lying. Like
Yeah.
they're very distinct rides.
Forbidden
Spider-Man
Journey.
is the greatest version of that ride in the
It
world.
is.
They both are.
Forbidden Journey is the closest I have ever been to a dragon on a ride, and it was terrific.
There's a Whomping Willow, a Dementor. Like, I can be Harry Potter. This is so great.
From a narrative perspective, Spider-Man's far stronger.
Yeah.
Forbidden Journey is like, we gotta go do a thing in the thing, and then it's like, seen a dragon? Nope. Dementors, brr. And then it's sort of like, thanks for coming. It's
Yeah.
sort of weak.
You can play Quidditch. You play Quidditch.
You run through Quidditch. You don't actually play any.
Walking through Hogwarts, walking through the Daily Bugle.
I agree. Q-wise, it's Forbidden Journey 100%. I'm not going to suggest otherwise.
Oh no, I love the Daily Bugle. I love all the like weird little computer stations.
I feel like you walked into a comic book.
I think Spider-Man needs a new Q, but that's just me.
So old.
It is very old, but I think Spider-Man's a better ride. Ben is Forbidden. I'm Spider-Man. Soberman.
I'm going Spider-Man. I know it may seem strange. I think the technology, Forbidden Journey was where Universal really stepped up its game, and they said, we can make attractions that are as good, if not better than Disney. And I think that was a game changer, but Spider-Man, yeah, that was like one of their first big breakthroughs. Everything else, anything like that. And I've been to Curse of Dark Castle and Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. It is a pale comparison.
Yeah.
I got to go Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Fig?
I went Spider-Man all the way.
Okay, cool. Alicia?
Forbidden Journey.
Okay, so we're 3-2. Patrick?
I will cast the winning vote for Spider-Man.
Okay.
Oof.
Oh,
Spider-Man it is.
There it goes.
we fought a good fight.
It was a good
That's
fun.
fair.
Boy superhero beats boy wizard.
But if Dueling Dragons was still open though.
We're gonna get there. It's on the defunct one. So
Yeah.
Oh,
We don't use the term defunct around here, but
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
Friend.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Now, if we started talking about the trash department in New York, I mean, that's a different.
Okay, the new we are now in the final bracket here, ladies and gentlemen, in my thing here, and this is old rides that aren't around anymore. Some of them going up against their own counterparts. So this is Earthquake versus Disaster.
So
I'm fully aware that some of us will never have ridden Earthquake or some of these at all. I just use your love of certain things or what you think is unique about them or anything. It doesn't really matter.
I meant to do homework on this category, but I forgot to. Does anyone remember what the difference was between the two?
Earthquake
Christopher
is, yeah, basically Earthquake is very self-serious in the sense that it is like, this is the movies and how we make disaster movies, and here's how Tower Inferno looked, and they give you examples of things,
Okay.
and it ends the same way, but it's sort of more of a documentary on
It
how
feels like
they.
an Epcot attraction.
Okay.
I wish it was. It's very. I mean, in that way, it would have sort of worked.
I mean,
Yeah,
there was
whereas-
originally going to be a movie pavilion in Epcot,
Yes.
and it ended up turning into the Studios Park.
Yeah.
The Great
Does-
Movie Ride was going to be in Epcot.
Yeah.
is one of these Twister? Like now I'm getting
No.
them confused.
No, that's in New York.
Disaster. Both of these are the ones that end with the flood in the subway station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earthquake just was pretty generalized documentary kind of quality between stuff, and then it ended with that. And then Disaster had Christopher Walken playing this disaster guy, and then The Rock, of course. It was a different way of showing how movie making was done. I don't think Earthquake had participants in aspects of it. I could be wrong.
I think it was more demonstration based.
Right.
Then
And
I'm going with Earthquake because I hate the participant one. I did both of these, but I hated the participants. It was so annoying.
Okay, so we have one for Earthquake. I'm going to go Disaster because Christopher Walken, and I enjoy the Pepper Ghost effect. Used first here and then later sort of adjusted for the Harry Potter cues. But I'm going to go, I like the interactions between the real life person and the fake person or the projected person inside of Disaster. So I go Disaster. Alicia goes Earthquake. Ben?
Kid Stairs of the Rock, take one.
All right, so we're Disaster 2, Earthquake 1. Soberman?
I have been a participant in Disaster, and I'm going Earthquake. I like that documentary style. I like that it, it's the movies, and it's showing off these great special effects Universal's done. It felt more tied to Universal at that point.
Okay, so we are 2-2. Fig?
Going Disaster because Christopher Walken.
Oh,
valid. Patrick?
Walking into Winter Wonderland.
Yeah.
I was going Earthquake because I just remember all the Nickelodeon shows back in the day when they gave a trip. They were like, you can ride the movies, and it would always be Earthquake. And I was so disappointed.
In theory, it's still Earthquake if it's Disaster.
Yeah, but it just wasn't the same.
So where are you going?
Earthquake.
Okay, so Earthquake wins that round.
I thought it was tied.
Yeah.
Oh, is it tied?
Thought so, yeah.
Okay. Chat,
Yeah.
you have 30 seconds.
Jet
Also,
Wax,
anyone
you
who
talk
gives
about
$5 gets an extra point. but they have to do it in the next 30 seconds.
Or at least tell us you're doing it and then follow through.
Yes, that's fine.
Because I know it can take a minute or two to donate. And
correct.
Go up.
Through crowdfund.
You have 10 seconds.
You. If you're raw, if you lied to us, we'll come back and flip your vote for the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 seconds. Patrick is using the restroom, so I'll give everyone an extra 15 seconds. 15 seconds on the clock.
I will check to see if we've had any more donations.
WDWNT.com. You can donate over there. You can send via PayPal. PayPal at WDWNT.com.
Oh, we're getting earthquake votes and YouTube. Yep.
Any disasters? That's time.
Dedwa in the Entunes chat said Mother Nature, which I believe was a disaster.
Mother Nature.
Title of the film from Disaster, yes.
I for a lighted up sort of worshipped portrait of Christopher Walken. So it looks like it's earthquake though.
It is 3-2.
I think so.
Okay. Earthquake it is. As we move along.
2-1, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there we go.
Earthquake. Confrontation versus Back to the Future.
This may be the hardest one of the whole tournament.
Yeah.
But I know where my heart lies, and I must follow it.
I vote Back to the Future.
Okay, so we have Alicia at Back to the Future. Sobran, where are you at?
I wore this shirt for a reason.
Oh,
nice.
That's awesome.
And this is an authentic Universal Florida.
Oh, wow. So we're two Back to the Future.
It is one of my all-time favorite films, and it became one of my all-time favorite attractions.
Cool. I too am Back to the Future.
4. I'm going to go Confrontation. Back to the Future's plot makes no sense.
Here we go.
I'm sorry. I literally have a master's degree in screenwriting. Do you think I don't care about this stuff?
David
literally
L.
my bread and butter. I literally teach it.
Patrick. David L. in chat said Kong, just so you know.
Kong.
I'm going with Back to the Future. It's the far better attraction. It should still be there. That Simpsons ride is garbage.
It should, yeah.
They should both be there. Let's be honest. Confrontation was just so different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like Jungle Cruise meets, because you had that tour guide.
I just don't think Confrontation would have been as pretty today. I don't think it's too slow. I think of the animatronics, even though he's very big. Sadly, I think people would kind of look at it as ancient. Back to the Future, though, would always keep the pace. Nickelodeon, this is just a generalized thing, but Nickelodeon Studios, all Nickelodeon Studios material versus Beetlejuice Graveyard Review.
I love these both. Last time I went, Beetlejuice was still running. Was this like 2017, 16?
Yeah.
It just closed.
So it's Beetlejuice versus the entirety of Nickelodeon Studios.
Well, I'll throw in an early vote. What I think everyone can pretty much predict at this point. I love movie studio attractions that show off how they do stuff. Beetlejuice is a pleasant show, but Nickelodeon Studios shows you how the job gets done, and it was pretty thorough in its examination.
I mean, you were literally just there while they were filming. So, Patrick,
do you have it, Nathan? Yeah, it's Nick Studios.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, same Nickelodeon. Just because every commercial I'd ever see was about going to the live slime time.
Yeah,
and that was my dream.
That fountain, that fountain.
I want to say, having spent time on the back lot of Universal, the Beetlejuice review was literally the world's most annoying thing. People would avoid going back there because you hated hearing it over and over. And you would see the actors come on, they were always so dramatic, and it was I can't handle this.
Well, that's good to know. Now, here's another tough one. Dueling Dragons versus Jaws. Dragons versus Jaws.
It's got to be Jaws. It has to be Jaws here.
It's Jaws for me.
It's Dueling Dragons for me.
Dragons is a coaster. It's a straight up non-themed coaster.
But you got to choose whether you went to which side, and then when they did the Harry Potter overlay,
you got to see the car in the tree.
That's true, but here's the thing: you're able to take that coaster and change it to be Harry Potter with very little work done to it because it is not a themed coaster.
Yep,
it's a themed queue.
I mean, it was copied and pasted right from Beastly Kingdom, so it's just it just ended up there. It's Jaws.
My vote is Jaws. Ben's is Jaws. Patrick's is Jaws. Fig, I think you're outnumbered. Did you say Dueling Dragons?
Yes, I said Dueling Dragons, and I stand by Dueling Dragons.
I do too.
And you know what?
Well, hold
everyone's
on.
opinion matters for sure.
I never rode Jaws. I think it went away. Like I was too little when I first went, and then but I love the movie, but I love Dueling Dragons, the ride.
Yeah. Soberman?
Call off the Marines. This one goes to Jaws.
This one goes to Jaws. So it's Jaws for the win on this one. By the way, there's a new book out. I can't remember. I think it's called something Amity 1. What's the line from that?
Amity 6?
Or Amity 6, I'm sorry. But there's something
base. This is Amity 6?
I think it's base. Base. This is Amity 6 or something. But anyway, there's a whole book about behind the scenes on that ride.
Well, I mean, it opened and then it closed so quickly after opening, and it took them like 2-3 years to actually get it up and running. They had
it's pretty storied.
It was
Go look up what that attraction looked like on opening day. It is very different.
Yeah.
Though let's be honest, if you know the history of making the film Jaws, nothing could be truer to the film.
There are better sharks in the ride than there were ever in the movie.
Yeah.
I think Spielberg said that.
Yes, he did. It is now Terminator 2 3D Battle Across Time versus Ghostbusters Spooktacular.
Adventures in Amity Tales from the Jaws ride is the name of that book.
Adventures in Amity, that's right.
Does anyone feel anything about either of these two things?
No, I do.
I do.
Oh, hold on.
A little early there.
Not said
I did get excited.
I gotta say this. Terminator 2 might be the most unique 3D show ever done.
Love
the elements in that, the live actors, the animatronics, it does a great job. But I gotta go Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters. It's another one of my favorite films. I only did the show once before it closed, and I have such fond memories. It's Ghostbusters.
So that's one for Ghostbusters. I'm Terminator. Is anyone else Ghostbusters?
Terminator.
Patrick is shaking his head. I can't hear his
mic. My microphone's down here. I forgot.
Hey, professional broadcaster. Put up your microphone in your mouth. Former.
I'm starting to see why now.
Yeah.
Terminator has Shaq shooting free throws. So Terminator.
It does. That's so true. I forgot about that.
Plus, it's got Jim Cummings in the queue.
Is Jim Cummings the voice in the queue?
I thought he was.
I don't know.
All right.
It's very possible. Jim Cummings seems to be everywhere. So, and then I love a very tiny lady playing John Connor, which is usually it.
Oh, I'm throwing Ghostbusters here.
I think you're outnumbered either way.
Oh no.
Yeah, Ben and I we will enjoy our Twinkies and our really big Twinkies.
There's something strange sleeping in your bed.
So here's a kind of an old school one. And this is Screen Test Home Video Adventure, which was when you would be able to get yourself taped in a green screen Star Trek movie.
My aunt did this, and then I saw it, and I actually thought, when I was a kid, I actually thought she had been in Star Trek. I was like, oh my God.
Versus Alfred Hitchcock, The Art of Making Movies. This is very much early Universal versus sort of the next stage of Universal.
I'm gonna snap pick Hitchcock here because the Screen Test Home Video Adventure thing is something that was part of the post show for Imagination, plus or minus, and so I can't in good conscience vote over something that's in a Disney post show over a full blown attraction.
I'm also gonna vote for Alfred Hitchcock mainly because I detest upcharge attractions.
Oh wow, this was an upcharge?
Yeah.
Oh, forget that.
Yeah.
I will say this: I would pick the Islands of Adventure Preview Center over Adventure.
Which was something I decided not to put on here, but was available. Patrick?
Oh, Hitchcock.
I think this is such a. I mean, I wish it was still around. I never got to experience Hitchcock, but it's clear if you look at the material and what they were doing, it really gives you a big idea of what Hitchcock was up to, and gives you all these interesting models and perspectives. And you just don't see this kind of stuff anymore. This is a thing that would be in the new Academy Museum that's happening in LA. It's that sort of level of detail. But Fig, Alicia, what do you guys think?
Hitchcock.
Same.
Okay, it's Hitchcock. Hey, we're doing okay. We're hitting at the top of the hour here, but I think we'll be able to complete this thing.
Yeah,
fairly soon.
It'll be a little over, but I mean, what isn't around here?
Little over is not too bad for us around here.
Yeah.
Jimmy Neutron's Nicktoon Blast versus the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera.
I can tell you I have fonder memories of one over the other.
Fair.
Can someone refresh me on the Hanna-Barbera one? I feel like I vaguely remember it.
Elroy was stolen by Dastardly and Muttley.
Well, you have to imagine all these characters came to life because William Hanna and Joe Barbera were showing you how they make the cartoons.
Yeah.
And then Elroy comes to life. Then Dick Dastardly also comes to life because one of them is drawing one, one's drawing the other, and an adventure ensues.
Yeah.
Didn't they have like Scooby-Doo in this too?
Yep. Everybody was in it.
Scooby-Doo, Flintstones, Jetsons.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's Hanna-Barbera because it's super classic, and I miss Hanna-Barbera being in Universal. I feel like they need more. I feel like Hanna-Barbera, I think Universal has completely, I guess not. I think the Illuminations has sort of taken the helm for costumed characters in the parks. Illumination being Illumination Studios, which is
okay. I thought you were talking about the Epcot show, and I'm like, what?
No,
I believe they still have the Scooby-Doo characters around.
Yeah, they do.
But I think that's the last of the Hanna-Barbera.
They would have nothing in that area because T2's gone. They would have nothing. And Lucy's gone too. Nothing would be there if Scooby-Doo.
Wait, the Lucy tribute's gone
it's all
too?
gone.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Hello Kitty shop.
Oh.
Now there's one you could have put on here.
I love that.
Oh.
Yeah, there's just
You
wasn't
love Lucy, Finn?
No.
the things she do.
Well
Lucy.
Yeah.
So are we Hanna-Barbera then?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Neutron
Barbera.
just past that generation.
Yeah, me too. Twister Ride It Out versus Triceratops Encounter.
Triceratops.
Twister.
Triceratops.
Twister.
Twister's garbage.
Just because I never
wait.
It is.
Wait, I'm gonna have to go Twister because I completely forgot what the Q was, or the whole Q video, which is the greatest acting by Bill Paxton he ever did.
Oh my god, that is a great video. I'm sorry. Yep, you're right.
Some people call it the finger of God.
I wrote my co-star do this with me.
Yeah. Here's
so
Helen
bad at
Hunt.
each other, they
We
won't
can't hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which when I heard Helen Hunt was doing the Candlelight Processional, I was like, all I want to talk to her about is not doing. I will pay.
Like Bill Paxton to the park one day. It's like, yeah, sure.
That would be difficult, but only because he's dead.
Well, historically, yes,
in theory. But I'll say that Q is very, very cool with the.
But you can see the cow in the tree. It was so great.
And the wheel was spinning.
I love the cow.
Yeah.
Another cow.
So it's Twister.
So great.
Though Triceratops Encounter, I never got to see it myself. Of course, certain famed vloggers have been kicked out of the entire Universal Park because they showed Triceratops Encounter.
I love that video.
I do too.
I want to do that.
Yeah, it's so wild that it's still hanging out there. But it's going to be Twister because of Bill Paxton's terrible acting. No one has ever cashed a check faster. Twister. That's right. So we are now going Earthquake versus Confrontation. Let's before we get to the hard ones, let's see. Is there any easy ones? Nickelodeon Studios versus Jaws. I think we're going to say Jaws on this one, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, I will fight you.
Okay, well, that's a bigger one. How about Hitchcock versus T2?
I go Hitchcock.
Also a fight.
Wow. How about Twister versus Hanna-Barbera?
Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
Twister. I think.
Okay, I'll yield.
All right. So thanks, guys. To save time, we've done one of these. Let's go Earthquake versus Confrontation. Earthquake, Confrontation. I go Confrontation.
I think I have to go Confrontation as well.
It's a huge ape. Can you imagine at that time, like creating a robot that size?
And the sets are so huge. I mean, literally, like in the early days of Halloween Horror Nights, you could walk the sets of Confrontation where you had the cars going above. They shut off the ride. You could walk the floor of the attraction.
It's that big.
It was that big.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Wow.
I'll go Kong just because I'm an anthropologist. So.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you were an
Nice.
anthropologist. Takes all sorts.
I think Kong's pretty sweet here as well. I think that's just winning out here.
Patrick?
Kong.
Kong. All right, so it's Kong.
Down the Kong.
Oh boy. Nick Studios versus Jaws. I think this is unfair.
I agree.
It's two very different animals.
Yeah.
Well, one's not an animal.
Well, yeah. So it's animals versus Gak.
I guess children are animals.
Slime. Gak is a supporting character in the Nickiverse.
What are we including with Hollywood or not Hollywood Studios? Wow, wrong show. Nickelodeon Studios. Are we including like when they like filmed things too?
Yes, I would say the experience of seeing things filmed. I would not say don't vote for a show because you don't know what you would do, but vote for the idea that you would get to go in
studio tour. I guess
sure, yeah, anything in that. I think Jaws is more fun, so I'm gonna go Jaws.
Jaws. I mean, it's. People will remember Nick Studios, but Jaws is immortalized in many movies. I mean, come on, Mallrats. It's Jaws.
That's true. And the thing is, Jaws has if anything, has more of a history of creating Universal Studios at all. Is the idea that they added? I guess they added Kong as well. So Kong and Jaws are the two things that sort of set up the tram tour and then made them kind of go, maybe we can do a whole thing like this. So Jaws for me, Jaws for Patrick. Ben.
So these are two of my favorite attractions at Universal ever. The fact that they're both defunct now is unfortunate, but I have very fond memories of Nick Studios. The toy lab there, the studio tour, the game shows that you would play there. I actually got slimed there as a kid. I have very fond memories of that place, and I can't not vote for that. It's just so terrific. The fact that they actually recorded a lot of shows there. Double Dare was there. There were a couple of the scripted shows I believe that also recorded there, although I can't recall offhand.
Did they do Hidden Temple there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did a lot of the classic shows there that you love from 90s Nick, and it was such a big place. It was a big part of like kids pop culture in the 90s. Like that was like the Nickelodeon Studios. Like you could like come back from summer break and tell I went to Nick Studios. It's like, oh, that's so cool. What did you do there? Oh,
and it beat out. I mean, honestly, like there was no equivalency. Like Disney Channel was not a thing that at all really at that point. It was Nick Studios at that time. I think the legacy doesn't last any. I mean, there's no Nick things period anymore because it's not a part of Universal, which is a real shame. But I mean,
there's hardly anything.
There's the SpongeBob store.
Yeah,
there is a SpongeBob store, and you can meet SpongeBob and Patrick.
Yeah, that's it. It's so strange because Nickelodeon's in Paramount now. I mean, I've seen it in different theme parks.
Yeah.
And now I think they're trying to strike out on their own.
If you go inside the pineapple in the shop in SpongeBob shop, they play that techno music from when the jellyfish take over his house.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Robo Fig.
Fig, you sort of went robo there for a second. Say it again. I picked up on what you're saying, but
okay, the little house inside. Yes. There's a pineapple inside SpongeBob store. And inside the pineapple, they play the techno music from when the jellyfish take over his house.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
That's
yes. I love going in there just because of that.
That's
it's
cool.
The same. So my vote is for Nick Studios because I love Mark Summers.
Yes.
And I love Double Dare, everything. Yes.
So Ben's a Nick, Fig's a Nick, I'm a Jaws, Patrick's a Jaws, right?
Jaws.
Soberman, you're what?
Oh, I'm having trouble.
Okay, we'll go to Alicia. Think about it, Soberman. Alicia, where are you at?
I'm Nick.
You're Nick. Okay, so we are now.
Oh God.
Chat. What is the chat saying? Soberman, think about it because this is a big one.
It is
Chat,
big.
start chiming in. Make some noise. I see you, Jaws.
If you give $5, your vote goes for something at this point. So give $5. Let us know that you have. and your vote counts for this.
Oh, this is hard because I love Jaws. It is my when I saw the choice, my first instinct went to Jaws because it is such a great attraction. It took, it's Universal's equivalent to the Jungle Cruise. It was interactive. It, had a great story. But my gut tells me now heading towards Nickelodeon because it was doing even what Hollywood Studios wasn't doing. It was a different kind of studio tour.
Mm-hmm.
And I love me some factual information.
Chat, you have
me to go against Jaws. I think I got to go Nick on this.
We have 2 Jaws in chat on YouTube chat.
Have they given money?
I've seen Jaws, and Nick.
Both of them have given money, and there's
Nickelodeon.
I don't think any of those donated.
Patrick, you say there's money on the line? I can't hear you because you're unprofessionally not holding your microphone.
I'm trying really hard to get ready for my show that you're running into.
I don't blame you.
So we have Jaws in there and a Nick in the chat. They have both given money in the past. David says Jaws. He's given money in the past. And Roaming Corliss is Jaws.
Well, not money in the past, and money in the now. That's what counts.
Who needs some money in the now?
Come on. We are this close to, we are about $105 away from breaking 4,000.
Woohoo!
So I mean, it's not impossible to do during this portion of the broadcast.
It's looking like it's going to be Jaws. If you want it to be Nick, donate. Tell us you're going to donate, and then
you've got 30 seconds.
But tell us now.
Do you feel strongly about Nick?
I feel so
Cicero or
both.
Why are we? No, please not talk about our feelings of Nick.
20 seconds.
I mean, you can vote for him too if you want, Patrick.
15 seconds.
I will vote for Nicholas Cicero.
Oh, we got a $5 donation.
There's Jaws.
It's Jaws.
I'll take
Donation
it.
music.
And 2, 1. It's Jaws.
Okay. Well, at least I don't feel bad about voting against Jaws now.
I think this was a very tough. This might be the hardest one.
I got to say my piece and still get an attraction I like ahead.
I think that was the hardest one we've done. So now it's
real quick. Thank you, Topher Perez, for your $5 donation.
Thank you so much, Topher.
Topher.
T2 3D versus Hitchcock. I'm going to say for repeatability for me, it is T2 3D.
Same.
Oh, I think I'm going to go Hitchcock.
One Hitchcock. Ben?
3 Terminator. There it is.
All right, it's Terminator.
Well, I tried.
You know what? You can only do what you can do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are now at Confrontation versus Jaws. So let's start there.
Jaws, right?
Gotta be Jaws.
Jaws.
I'm going Kong.
I think it's Jaws.
It's Jaws. From the Nickelodeon Studios person, Jaws.
Silverman, you're having a terrible run here. I'm sorry about that. But it's Jaws.
Why,
wait, is there a lot of chat about this? If there's a lot of chat, we can do a donation.
I'm not seeing a lot in chat right now.
All right, everyone seemed to want Jaws anyway. So Jawas is
Jawas.
Yes, donate and we will bring back Jaws.
And the Jawas.
Our mission. No.
So T2 3D versus Twister.
Twister.
Terminator.
I think I'm going to go Terminator on this one.
I'll go Terminator.
Do I have to vote?
What? Oh, wait. Sorry.
Hey, you know what, Alicia? It is sexist for you to think that she has to join you in your sisterhood of bad ideas.
We're so normally linked. She just let me down right there.
I think I only rode Twister once. It was awesome because of the flying cow.
You didn't ride it. You just stood there.
It says ride it out, but you didn't actually ride anything.
And I stood right next to the window where the cow flies right by. It was an amazing experience. But I did Terminator so many more times, and I don't know, I love it.
You get to see a really annoying lady get forced, get choked out in Terminator, and that's kind of cool.
It's very extra.
She's very funny too. They've always had really good actresses for that role. Patrick,
it's already to Terminator, right? So I don't have to vote. My vote doesn't matter.
Still vote. You matter to me.
I abstain. I love these in a stupid way, both.
It's Universal Parks. We all love them in a stupid way.
I really miss Twister.
I do too.
Then you should have voted for it.
All right, it's Terminator. So here we go. We now have to do the. Oh wow, this is it. Okay, so it's Jaws versus Terminator.
Jaws. Now I don't feel so bad. To me, it's Jaws.
Yeah.
To me, it's Jaws as well. Anyone disagree? Okay.
Easy fight.
Final three.
That is an amazing final three, I would just like to say.
Yeah.
And I would just like to say the 2 attractions I was rooting for at the beginning didn't even make it out of the first round.
Which ones?
Back to the Future and Ghostbusters.
Oh, come on.
Wow.
Didn't make it through. I think we can finish this up here in the next couple minutes. You know what? It is a group of 3, and that is because there's no 4, and we can't do that sort of finagling. So chat is $5, or any donation, 5 plus.
This is it, mate.
For your call. I don't want anyone to say anything. We're gonna give because I think we may. I don't know if there's a lot of waffling here, but there might be and there may not be, and I don't want to not have people vote through donations. So I'm gonna let people have a minute here to add through donations. You can do that at toys.wdwnt.com or on YouTube or through PayPal. But the PayPal, I don't know if we can.
We can't see the PayPal.
We can, yeah.
So please do it through YouTube or let us know in.
Yes, that's the correct choice here. If you're going to donate for an answer, we're going to trust you, and if you blow that trust, we'll get.
Man,
back
you're
at
the
you.
worst.
Like this is for charity, and you're blowing our trust on this. What's wrong with you, monsters?
In the overflow slot, we will trash talk you.
Yes. Just
Patrick.
Post in chat saying that you're going to donate for something, and then proceed to do it after you've told us you're going to be doing it.
Yeah.
So
Patrick?
we're down to E.T., Spider-Man,
Yep.
and
Jaws.
Oh.
I mean, those are the 3 classics. Listen, if you tell us you're going to donate and you don't, we won't be angry, just disappointed.
Yeah. So
E.T. will never make it.
2, 1 minute on the clock. So we'll see what people decide here and how they help.
And Around the Hub will be starting shortly.
Yes. Sorry for holding.
It's fine. I blame Ben.
Yeah, it's my fault. We started this 30 minutes late, and
I've only 15 minutes
true.
late.
Yeah.
So
we got a $5 donation for Romy Corliss Jaws, no question.
okay, Roman
wow.
Corliss. $5. There goes a Jaws.
Thank you.
You have 30 seconds on the clock.
30 seconds. Good luck.
On your mark.
I guess everyone wants to get E.T. to
Oh.
the planet.
What else we got? 20 seconds.
I heard an excited O.
Yeah, Patrick, was that an O of just excitement or O as in donation?
No, that was the intro to Double Dare right there.
Yeah, that was the intro.
There. 10
Guys,
seconds.
Nickelodeon Studios is out. I mean,
I missed that though.
5 seconds.
Side note: Double Dare Live is a thing. Go look it up.
Yeah.
It's
They
touring
cruise
right
lines?
now.
Cruise lines.
No, they
And
told
that's a
us.
minute. That's a minute.
They
They
brought
were
it back,
at UMBC
right?
a week or 2 ago.
Yeah.
So let's count up our totals when it comes to the chat. It looks like we only had 1 for Jaws, right? $5.
That is correct. All of
Yep.
our fan votes right now were 1 for Jaws.
Okay. So that's-
Jedwa said Jaws and then Sean Connery.
Yeah.
he doesn't get to vote because he didn't donate this time around. But thank you.
Roman Corliss.
Josh.
So
Josh,
we've got 1 vote for Jaws from Roman Corliss.
All right.
That's
So,
it. So
Roman
how's this going to shake out?
some mad love for a robotic.
So let's go through this
shark.
again. Spider-Man, E.T., and
Oh.
Jaws.
Oh.
No love for E.T.? Come on.
Christopher Walken over
Right
there.
in on the ballot. Takes it all.
I'm still with Doc Brown.
Well, that's not allowed.
No,
So get it together, Soberman.
I know.
Patrick, you seem willing.
You know what? Spider-Man is one of my favorites, but when I think of classic Universal and what should represent Universal, it's Jaws. That's what everybody remembers. It's Jaws and, maybe even Confrontation a little bit, but I think Jaws is quintessentially Universal.
I really wish I would have gotten to write it. I mean, it looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that in the final 3 is all stuff I got to experience.
Yeah.
Um,
Spider-Man is as much of a revelation as Jaws was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
E.T. is not much of a revelation. It was something that had been done before.
But it was an elevation of an existing form.
It's true. It's true.
So in that way, it changed the game, though perhaps not in the same to the same impact as the other two.
Let me put it like this: you have the randomized factor of a bad skipper on Jaws, which is also something that always holds Jungle Cruise as being something that can be good or bad. Clearly, the skippers in Amity 6 are not necessarily the same way, because they it's more scripted. They don't have to do jokes. But for me, that means Spider-Man. I'm going to go Spider-Man because there is no randomization there or potential of a bad skipper. It's a good Spider-Man every time. So Spider-Man for me.
E.T. is the main reason. I used to work for Comcast, so they give us free passes. Well, it was like an NBC subsidiary, et cetera, et cetera. So we'd get free passes. And then sometimes I'd just be too lazy. I'm like, I don't want to, I'd rather go to Disney. But when I did go, it's because I wanted to go on ET. And if I didn't go on ET, that's it. So
where are we at now? We've got Patrick said Jaws.
Nathan said Spider and Fig said ET, I think.
Oh.
3 left. And we have 2 Jaws. We have 2 Jaws, 1 Spider-Man, 1 ET.
Oh, yes, we do.
That's right. Yes. Thank you once again.
You don't cry on Jaws or Spider-Man.
I cried on Jaws, but I was 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, I mean,
it was scary.
I'm at that point where I cry. That part in ET where you soar over the starry lit night or whatever. Yeah.
That's adorable in a very good way.
And then if you sit in the front row and he pops up.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So awesome.
She's getting emotional right now about it. But I think it's because she's tired, because we all are.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised no one brought that up when we were talking about Brendan Fraser demanding his coffee.
Yeah, I agree with Brendan. I could use another batch. Ben, I want to get this done here by 2:30.
I'm coming down pretty solidly here on Jaws.
Patrick, do you need more time? Oh, Patrick was like 2:30. I think we get done before then.
That was such a good attraction.
Jaws for you.
I remembered it fondly. I went back and watched an attraction ride through recently, and it didn't change a darn thing. I think that attraction would still be good if it was open today. It was great when it was open. It was great when it first opened, assuming it was working. Sorry, Fig is distracting me with the camera pan over to Hefty Chunk.
Oh, he's so sweet. I'm gonna eat your cat in an adorable way. He's always gonna eat my cat.
Speaking of things eating other things, it's Jaws.
Jaws for you. So that is who's left? Is it just Alicia?
Spider-Man.
I don't think I voted yet either.
Soberman. Wait, hold on, Alicia. Do you have final thoughts on Spider-Man?
I said Spider-Man. I vote casting Spider-Man.
Okay.
So we've got 2 for Spider-Man, 3 for Jaws, 1 for E.T.
Yes.
Well, I gotta say, there's really no way I can. Yeah, I can't. Oh wait, I could tie it up for Spider-Man, but then it would just go to the vote.
Patrick, your ears are all lumpy.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I think I will make Fig feel a little better and put in another vote for E.T.
Yes.
Okay, so that means our winner of this, the very first Universal Best of the Rest Final Four-ish, goes to Jaws, right?
I think that what we learned from this whole thing is that Universal peaked at its opening and has been rolling downhill ever since.
With a ride that was a failure on day 1.
Yeah.
It didn't even work day 1. So thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you so much, Patrick, Alicia, and Fig. You guys are wonderful. Gracias for coming and helping us out in this Universal Final Four-ish. Coming up next what is coming up next? Is it
Around the Hub?
It is Around the Hub?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Around the Hub.